and welcome to another horrific review. This one just caught my eye and had to check it out. I wasn't too sure if I was going to enjoy it or not, but holy hell, this was a good movie. So I'm talking about Alive. Generic title. This one was 2018. I've put the link in the description so you can check it out. That's the worst thing about horror movies or movies in general and books and all. There's only so many words you can put together into a title to make it stand out, and sometimes you get ridiculous. But yeah, what's nothing wrong with good old traditional words and phrases. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. Funny bit of a productive day. I've been had the day off, so got some recording, editing, and playing a new intro for stuff and a few other things in the background because it never ends when you're doing this stuff. But anyway, sorry. Once again, going live, get burps. That seems to be the way the universe works. But this movie, it's tense, gory drama with a handful of actors. So unlike slashers or some other ones where you got like loads of actors, this is a small cast. Initially, it's only got 3 people. And when you've got a movie like that, you really have to work on the character acting. If you don't, then the whole thing falls apart. Lucky enough here, we've got 3 good actors who play the roles, and it works now. In comparison, think 10 Cloverfield Lane, but this is amped up a bit. It's not torture porn, but there are how will I put this? There's some intense scenes and there's like graphic gore, but it's done in a hospital setting and it makes sense. So it isn't gratuitous, sort of gore and that, but it works. So effectively, I don't want to spoil the story for those that are interested in checking out. If you want tense drama, this is a good one. It's not over the top. It's all about the character acting. So what we have are these 2 people, and they find themselves waking up attached to a gurney in a hospital. Now, you know from the offset, even from the description, it's 2 people who wake up and they've got a sadistic caretaker. But even from the outside, you know something's not right. They wake up, the place is dim, it's the lighting's off, it's not a normal hospital. So you get that from the get-go. The first one to wake up is the man. Now, I'm not being ambiguous. We actually don't know their names. That's kind of the drama aspect of this here. So we don't actually know the characters' names, and that's part of the story. So we've got the man, he wakes up, and he's sort of groggy. Here, the thing that annoys me, one of the cliches is that, you've got drips inside you, and the first thing you do when you wake up is start pulling them out. It's an overused trope, but we'll do it here. But we see that he's seriously injured. The effects in this, they're using practical effects, blood and gore, so he's got bandages, they're blood soaked. And this guy really plays a well of being incapacitated. Do you know why somebody gets severely injured and then 2 minutes later they walk it off, sort of thing? Nah, but don't get this here. This is part of the plot. Is he has sustained some sort of injury. We don't know. He's bandaged up, but and this is how you know something's off as well, because the bandages are blood soaked and they're still on him. Now, if I was a hospital, obviously they'd be getting changed and they'd be crisp. Be used blood clot out of them, so and so. The fact that he's there, not the cleanest of conditions, you can just tell even in the darkness. There's something off. He's up. He pulls out his drips. He falls out of the bed, and then he starts to get a flashback of something that happened to him. And then the next thing we see, he's getting helped up onto the gurney again, and then he wakes up, and then there's a girl beside him. She's not as badly injured as him, but she's still badly injured, and she's kind of in the same boat, waking up, not knowing what's going on. Now, what we find out is both these characters have amnesia. They have no idea who they are. And we don't know. It seems, once again, it's suspicious. Both of them have amnesia. Both of them in this place, which is obviously not right for a hospital. It's a bit convenient, so you know instantly something's wrong. It takes a few minutes before we actually meet the antagonist, the guy. It's when he's he's trying to crawl out the carton. When he gets out of the bed, he crawls up, but it's done in a way that he's not like grabbing himself. It's all done, no slow walking sort of dread, no rush. Oh, there is good old Chris on. How are you, man? There you go. I haven't seen this, but I'm certain the person in the movie poster for this one. He doesn't look very alive. I don't want to spoil it. It kind of ties in with the whole theme of this movie. Yeah. This is an interesting one. There's a few twists and turns along the way as we try to discover what the hell's happened to these two. But yeah, they've got amnesia. But then after he's put back in the gurney, then we meet the doctor. And this guy's not right. you see this guy and you hear him speak and the way he treats him. This is not a good place they're in. That's why I'm saying 10 Cloverfield Lane, where if you're waking up somewhere after a car crash or misery and you're handcuffed to the flipping bed, there's something not right. Now, in fairness, these guys weren't restrained. It was only after the first guy, like, effectively pulls out his tubes and falls out of bed and he's restrained for his own safety. So there's a weird thing that you're actually sympathetic with the guy who's doing this. It's odd because he's even saying, now you don't want you hurting yourself again. Because at the moment he's done nothing on them. But there's that sense of dread from the outside. You know this isn't right. It's like screaming in the back of your head, this is off, get the hell out of there, sort of thing. But it's the flashbacks that start making the story, what is this? So first thing we see the guy and he's going through a flashback and he's got a gun in his hand and then he turns around and he's getting shot by someone. And I think that's why he's there. Then he flashes back and he's in prison and he's in handcuffs being led somewhere. So you start thinking, Prison Break, is this a mob doctor? Is that, all the seeds are planted. You don't know what's going on. The girls' flashbacks aren't as great, I'll be honest. He's the more interesting story, but he can't speak initially. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. God, this bloody cough. It's still not going away. He can't speak initially. There's something wrong with his vocal cords. You can actually see he's struggling to do it. So she acts as the narrator for the first part of the movie. She can talk, she can engage with the doctor, ask questions. He's very vague about the answers. So once again, it's that back of your head sort of, this ain't right. Something's off here. It doesn't take as long into the movie to realize that this guy is using these two as playthings. And I think it's the feeding scene is where it first really comes out. Because even when he's injecting them and tending to their wounds, and even when he's putting the guy in restraints, we've seen him actually fall out of bed and we see that he's severely injured and he can barely walk and there's blood seeping through. So you understand why he does it. It's when this feeding scene where he's made some sort of herbal concoction, and this is where you start to get the insight, because he's talking about how herbs can do good or ill and we're all from the earth, and he starts going on a bit of a ramble. So he's not the full shilling. The guy's definitely off. And then him and the male patient, this guy's got attitude and I know about that because I've got attitude. The old staring people down. He's staring at him in defiance, won't speak, and then he won't let him feed him, and then she has the act as a sort of calming influence because we can see this guy's now unhinged because if you're giving palliative care to someone and family members that have done it, I can't do it. Wouldn't be me. I'm not that way built. Fair play to people that can, but like our family members have done palliative care, and you don't start forcing spoons down people's throat, or you don't start getting angry with someone. You have to be patient, and this guy is starting to get angry as if he's going to do bad things. But if I didn't have the evil spirits, who would I have to talk to? You know what I mean? It's evil spirits that keep this channel going. It might be worth just keeping the cough if that's their way of latching on to me. You know how it is. Normal people don't want spirits around them, but I embrace them. It's all good. The eviler the better. It gives me more twisted ideas. The fact that evil spirits probably come to me and go, "Whoa, I'm getting out of here. That guy's not right." Yeah, start watching this channel too. You do take a step down the dark side. That's just, I think what it is as well. When you're a horror fan and you've been, you kind of get blasé about stuff, and then you forget if you encounter someone who maybe isn't as in the weeds or not a horror fan. They're like, "What is wrong with you?" And you're like, "What? That's not the worst thing I've watched. That's not the worst thing I've thought." Just that's the way it is. But that's half the fun. That's it, because the people I worry about the most are the ones with a fake smile and try to be nice all the time. They're the ones that are just 1 instant away from snapping. If you sort of embrace the darkness, I think, and I've interviewed loads of horror authors and creators, and there is a pattern. It seems to be the more dark and depraved that somebody has an outlet for in their work, it has the opposite effect on their personality, and they're kind of like, "Well, I'm chill because I put all the dark Nazi stuff into this book, or into this script for a movie, or into this movie, or into this sculpt," and the opposite effect. Like I put all my dark, disgusting sense of humor comes out in this, as you probably know. So I can kind of go along happily about a lot of things that would probably shake others, but we're all different, and that's what we do. We embrace people's differences and celebrate them because that's makes interesting characters. Because we're all the same, Flip would be bored to tears. But anyway, that's another tangent. Back to the movie. So things start to progress as we go along. There's Kerr starts to get more twisted, and then he latches onto the girl, but it's not in a sexual way. This could have easily been derailed with him being just wanting to have his way with her, but they're clever about it. It's not that sort of thing. It's more paternal, and because she can speak initially, that's what sort of drives him closer to her first. And the fact that he's got this attitude towards him kind of makes it worse. Makes it worse. But there's a scene where he starts rehabilitating them, and straight away he's the only person that they encounter. There's nobody else in this building. We know that. You can tell that from the very start. So straight away, this is wrong on so many occasions. But we don't see outsider. We do. It's one of those ones. There's corridors. You don't get the full layout, so you're as lost as the characters, which is cool. That can always be done badly, and in this case, it's done very well, and it adds the attention because we don't know where we are. We don't know what the actual layout is or what's going on. How close is help, for example. We go to some sort of gym that he's racked up. He gets her to not walk about, almost like what do you call them? Gym rings. So it's not like the normal, if somebody's trying to rehabilitate and walk the bars, it's actually her. He has her style, but he has this like weird exercise machine, and he's pulling the bar back, and the guy has to use pedals. So think like a saw, like one of the devices out of saw. It's kind of like that. But then we see the sadism because when he's pulling thing back, it's actually whacking this guy in the face, and it becomes like a weird sadomasochistic ritual where he's enjoying inflicting pain on the guy, and then the guy's being defiant, fighting back, and it goes on. It's actually a really intense thing. Yet there's no blood and gore. So that's character acting. That's where you see good character acting when you've got little in the way of effects or distractions, so to speak, and the characters only really have each other. Because all these scenes, they're all in a single room. They're all in single room scenes for the majority of this movie till it ramps up, obviously, the next. Like, they're still sort of in the first act. Now, that's when you just know straight away they've been taken against their will, or they've been brought in there. They're not in a place of healing, but we don't know the circumstances because we get some of the flashbacks from their memories, but these two don't even know their own names, and that's what they're on theme. Into sort of the second act is when he reveals he's talking about family and stuff, and he brings them out into a garden. And when I mean garden, I mean shit pit yard with boarded up windows, and there's a fence, and there's a dog, big Rottweiler, kept the fence, so it's a guard dog essentially. There's woods, so they don't know where they are yet, but we know it's some sort of building and it's kind of secluded. But that's when you start to see the full force of this guy's character, because he talks about how they're a family now and they're going to stay here forever. And he talks about his plans, and then the minute any sort of defiance, he starts, he gets started really agitated. But it's this scene where he starts cutting a plant, busy threatening the girl, and he gets really agitated. But what he's doing is he's agitating the bloke to speak, and this is where the bloke then first gets his voice, because he screams out, and then once he realizes he can speak, then that's kind of him talking for the rest of the movie. So you've got a weird thing going on here. The guy's a sadist. The guy is inflicting pain, but at the same time, he's helping them heal. So by doing what he's doing, that's what gets the bloke to talk, where he wasn't speaking at all. It's all very strange. So you're left not too sure. You know it's wrong. You know they're not in a good place, and you know this guy's methods have a sadistic streak to them. But he's making these guys better. It's all very weird, and that's kind of the thing. Is he? Isn't he? What are they? How did they end up here? And they keep trying to ask, man, how did they get here? How was he brought? And he's obviously vague. And it goes on. Of course, things start to wrap up because then he gets paranoid. That's why I draw the parallels with 10 Cloverfield Lane, because who was that? John Goodman? He played that guy? The big guy that owned it, the bunker. And he was getting more neurotic as it went on. Well, this is the same with this guy. He's getting more neurotic, so it's a case of those two, when they're talking, then realize he's going to kill us. That's one of them. We're in the lair of a serial killer. We're going to die. We need to get out of here. And then that's where things ramp up. This is where I've got to be careful, because, like I said, I don't want to spoil the movie. I don't mind spoiling crap movies that I don't care about. But this is actually a tense drama thriller in a horror setting. Does it really well. And it's the whole reveals of the plot and how things unfold. But as we go along, then they start trying to escape. Then things ramp up, and then they realize that they're deeper in somewhere that they're not too sure about, because they can't find the outside. And this goes on until they then start to make discoveries as they go along, and then the girl's memories start to come back. and she starts to remember things, but nothing about him. It's still a mystery how he's come into their lives, and then that's kind of the whole investigation while they're trying to escape. Of course, like any of these type of movies, they'll have a couple of failed attempts. He then punishes them, and it kind of ramps up to its conclusion. There's one scene towards the end that we could have done without, because it didn't really add, and it was part of the whole trying to escape. Because obviously, it's this type of movie; they're going to try to escape and either succeed or not. Let's put it that. There's one scene, I think, if they had took that scene out and expanded on the ending, this movie would have been a lot better. So it kind of falls apart at the end, and I don't want to talk about it because it will spoil what's happened. But when everything gets revealed, it feels kind of rushed. Where if they had took a particular scene out, and I'll just say the scene with the drop, we'll do that. If I had taken that scene out, the scene with the drop, and if you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Remove that scene because it didn't really add anything. And if they had spent a few minutes extra on the actual ending of the movie when everything gets revealed of what actually has happened, this would have been a brilliant movie from start to end. Just a wee bit disappointed that they spent so much time and effort in the build up, and then the end just felt as if, oh, right, okay, we're out of time, we're gonna get this wrapped up, right, done, the end. However, it didn't ruin my enjoyment of the movie. I'll say that. Although I was slightly disappointed, and then maybe it's me nitpicking, but it's the curse of storytelling. You get so involved, and then you're limited. Especially in movies, they're limited to time, that it's inevitable. It's very difficult to always get the pacing of a story right. But there you go. That's a review. Really enjoyed this one. Different flavor from what I've watched. Oh, obviously I've watched these type of movies before, but from the start of this channel reviewing, I think this is the first like proper thriller where I was invested and not just waiting to get to the end, if that makes sense. I know I've watched other ones and reviewed them, and some of them felt like I was like, come on, would you get to the end already and just reveal it? Because how some of these types of mystery ones are just dragged on that bit too much. This wasn't. There was plenty in it. And because I wouldn't say it's had a massive budget, especially when it's a character-driven movie, it worked well. So there you go. Definitely recommend this one to check out. Just be warned, it is tense. I'll give it that. It is tense. So if you're not used to that sort of thing, you might find this movie a bit much. But if you like thrillers, mysteries, and sort of true crime with a bit of supernatural hint thrown in, but not quite knowing how it's come about, then this movie's for you. But there you go. If you check it out, if you've watched this and you liked it, let me know what you thought. Do you agree? Do you disagree? All that good stuff. Keep up with the channel. Do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy. Keep it horrific.